fighting Lavador. Matsuyama, well, he's had an interesting day. Baristega from Brazil was his first opponent, beat him. Then Iimura, his teammate, before taking out the giant killer of the day, Egypt's Tolba. And then taking out the Olympic champion. Men's foil semi-final #1 here at the 2023 World Championships is underway. Well, it was underway. Su Sang-yong, the referee, just calling HUT. Didn't quite see what that was for, but back underway again. Kiyasuke Matsuyama, or as we should say, Matsuyama Kiyasuke, off the mark with the first attack. This time the attack is parried, so ITKIN had the right of way, but Matsuyama, watch this little parry there, and then you're allowed one attempt at your riposte, even if your opponent scores at the same time. Weapon of convention foil. So the basics are, you've got to hit with the tip of the sword. The target area is the torso, covered by that lame jacket, that silvery jacket. The referee has to decide who is the attacking fencer. So you can get white lights and coloured lights, and you can get multiple versions of those lights coming up at the same time. So it can be a little bit confusing. That's, I suppose, my job to talk you through it. But essentially, if you are being attacked as a fencer, you have 3 options. One you don't want, which is to get hit. The second one is you run away and you make your opponent miss, but you mustn't step off the back of the 14-meter piste. The second way to defend is to use your sword and to block with your blade. It's called a parry. And if you run away and make your opponent miss, or you block with your blade, it's your turn to attack. It's a game of turns, really. Now, each fencer has 2 video appeals. They can challenge politely the referee's decision, and that's what's happened here. So the referee's going to have a look at the video, and they can slow it right down to 30% of its regular speed. And the hit stands for Nick ITKIN, 2 apiece. So, pretty happy to go after each other here. You look at the records across the season, this season. Despite Matsuyama being down at number 14 in the world compared to Nick ITKIN's ranking of 6, Matsuyama has won a World Cup in Bonn way back in November, right at the beginning of the season. Had 3 top 16 finishes. Didn't do as well as he would have expected at the Asian Championships, finishing 7th. ITKIN on the attack has had 2 quarterfinal finishes so far this season in ranking events. 4-16, so ultra consistent, and he got the silver medal at the Pan American Championships. Whatever happens, this will be Matsuyama's first time on a World Championship podium. ITKIN, as I said, picked up the bronze last year in Cairo. He has, in fact, been a junior world champion back in 2018. In fact, there's a few accolades that follow him. He's a 2021 US national champion, won the World Cup in Paris in 2020. He's become the youngest top 10 foil fencer ever at senior level. So Matsuyama perhaps suffering from a bit of cramp here. And looks like the medics are on their way out to assess whether this requires an injury break, usually with cramp, there's not a huge amount you can do about it. Certainly not in 5 minutes. So you saw the flashing blue lights indicate to everybody here in the crowd that this is a medical assessment. If they deem that it requires attention, and attention that will likely result in the problem being fixed, they'll get 5 minutes. But it looks like Matsuyama Kisuki's decided to carry on. Difficult thing to battle cramp on your feet if you're a fencer. And Matsuyama electing to continue. So the attack from the left fails. If you beat your opponent's blade, that gives you the right of way. And misses it. And again, ITKIN has landed one on the counter. Now, that's an attack off target. So you see the white light. Right of way is with the Japanese fencer, but he didn't hit the valid target area, so no point given. ITKIN in almost full splits. So again, Matsuyama establishing the right of way with a beat. So even though ITKIN snuck in quickly, it wasn't his right of way. So misses the attack this time, ITKIN. Lepeshu, the former French international fencer, looks on in support of Matsuyama Kisuki. Japanese have 2 French coaches at the head of their program, Frank Bourdin, and in the box here this evening it's the number 2, Lepeshu. Nick ITKIN's got his dad in the box, Misha ITKIN, a former Ukrainian fencer. In fact, Nick has dual citizenship, USA and Ukraine. Para riposte off target for ITKIN. Be worth keeping an eye on ITKIN's movement as well. He went into the splits just a little bit earlier, as you probably saw, and he has recovered from a torn right hamstring. That's going to play on his mind. So Matsuyama with the feint disengage attack, so he fakes to one side of the body, forcing the parry across, and then deceives that parry to hit on the other side of the body. ITKIN tries the same thing, but this time hitting the arm. Well, in close quarters, the parry riposte has been given to ITKIN, and Matsuyama calls for a video review of this one. And we get that video review right here. Well, you can see why Matsuyama's calling for this. He did do a parry. Is that an attempted counter block from Nick ITKIN? In fact, the right of way was with Matsuyama. Referee having a good look at it. So Matsuyama making a fist of this now, getting back into the match. Parry riposte, and again going down into the splits. This time ITKIN getting his left hand down onto the piece. Wondering now if that is going to affect him. Be interesting when they get to the break to see how these athletes use that time. Will there be a bit of stretching from the pair of them? Matsuyama, if he was suffering from cramp, may well find himself lying on his back with Japanese physio giving his leg a good crunch. Now, the Hulk came in at exactly the time that ITKIN launched his attack, and there is Misha ITKIN preparing for the minute break. The two athletes get a chance to take on some fluid and chat to their coaches. Nick ITKIN just holding on to this lead. It's only 3 points now. It was so much bigger before, but another beautiful feint disengage from the American takes him to the break. Well, both athletes sitting down on the piste here. Misha ITKIN this end, father of Nick ITKIN and head coach of the LA Fencing Center on the west coast of the United States of America, giving him the instructions. There is Erwan Lepechu, the Frenchman, who technically cannot stand on the piste, and he's been asked to just come off it. Doesn't make too much difference to his ability to talk to Matsuyama. Matsuyama just taking the opportunity to rest those legs, and so did ITKIN. Second period of the first men's foil semi-final here at the Fencing World Championships of 2023. And it's Nick ITKIN of the USA leading Matsuyama of Japan by 10 points to 7. So the parry riposte coming in from the Japanese fencer. We get a good look at it here. A little cart and then circular cart flick on the shoulder, and ITKIN was down on one knee. So the first attack from Matsuyama this time fails. It was actually the remise. You see, he doesn't quite hit there, and it's when he hits the arm that a light comes up in the box. But in the meantime, right away switches over to ITKIN, and he scored his 11th touch. Oh, lovely stuff there. ITKIN was leading the dance, controlling the distance, absolutely. But Matsuyama Kiyotsuki was primed and ready and waiting for that opportunity. See, ITKIN just sitting back. He's trying to stay out of hitting distance, killing the time and effectively forcing Matsuyama Kiyotsuki to come on to him. Staying at a safe distance, playing the percentage game here, the American. And then trying to launch an attack. He failed the first one. He then got back quick enough to block out the counter action. In fact, it was parried by Kiyotsuki Matsuyama, so it was a counter parry riposte. And ITKIN's attacked. Matsuyama's used his blade to defend. And then when he's gone for the attack, ITKIN does the same to him and lands the counter riposte, as it's called. 2 away from upgrading the bronze he won last year, Nick ITKIN. Well, we see the troubles continue for Matsuyama.
Yes. Yes.
Susang going up to ask Matsuyama to crack on with this. He's had the medics out already for this injury. He's struggling though, and now he's down on the piece. Now, he didn't have a medical timeout before. And the return of the team here, looking after the physical welfare of the athletes. And you can see the stretching already beginning. He's in a lot of pain here. I'm not entirely convinced this is cramp anymore. This could be a groin strain. You've got to think about the athlete at the other end of the piece as well here. Nick ITKIN sitting down, looking on at what's been done. Of course, he'll be thinking, well, I don't want my opponent to be injured here, but he'll want to crack on with the fight. They're 30 seconds now into the injury timeout, the medical break. Up to 5 minutes allowed in these circumstances. And there you see Matsuyama getting the treatment. Down the other end, the American fencer taking on some fluid himself. Some discussions going on with the head of the organising committee. And there is Susang Wan, the referee, talking to Erwan Lepeshu, and he gets a card for being outside of his technical area. Japanese physio is out there. I think there's some question over whether he should get the full injury time, because this is an injury that had the medics out a little bit earlier on. ITKIN trying to keep his focus. It's he's looking away from Matsuyama now because he's talking to his coach and his dad, Misha. Important to keep your focus, keep your concentration, or perhaps, if you prefer, to kind of block it all out and not think about anything at all. so that you can then reset as soon as you come back to the piste. Halfway through the medical pause. And looks now like it could be the lower part of the hamstring, perhaps. But physio's working the whole of the thigh muscle at the moment. It's hard to say what this could be. Looked when he went down as though it could be a groin strain. It's a very difficult thing to get over. Marco Fichera there on the right. He's the top dog here. He's the one that put this competition on effectively, with a team of people, of course. Former Italian men's epéiste. Bibivio. What a superstar she is. Got prosthetic arms. Both her arms are prosthetics. She's a multiple Paralympic champion. The first with prosthetic arms to win a Paralympic gold medal. And she's got a few of them now. She's an absolute legend in Italy and in the world of fencing. So those with the pleasure of sitting in the VIP area get that exclusive access to a couple of Italian fencing legends. Well, 35 seconds to go in this medical pause. MATSUYAMA is now just starting to get up, but it needs help. He's left his glove behind. There you go. Physio hands over to it. Well, this will be an interesting first start to the resumption of the match. As we get a good close-up of the scoring apparatus as that time clicks away, and a very comforting round of applause from the crowd here, welcoming MATSUYAMA back. There's the coach, Lepeshu, who got a card for stepping out of the technical area in that break. It looks like we're going to get the fight back underway halfway through the second period of the first men's foil semi-final here at the 2023 Fencing World Championships. MATSUYAMA's had a medical break for some kind of issue with his front leg. Could be cramp, could be a strain. He seems to be moving okay, but Nick ITKIN dives in as MATSUYAMA, I think, changed his mind. He was looking to go forward then and changed his mind. ITKIN spotted the perfect moment to go for the attack. And finishes things off with a parry riposte. MATSUYAMA will collect his first medal, and we know, first medal at the World Championship, I should say. We know it is bronze, but Nick ITKIN has won that first semi-final. Bronze medalist from